Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another weekly spread for you. I've noticed lately that a lot of people have been leaving comments both on my YouTube videos and around like the bullet journal online community. People are kind of expressing that they can't bullet journal because they're not artistic, or they can't bullet journal because things are just too complicated and they don't have the time to spend an hour on a spread, which is completely understandable because I don't have time to spend an hour on a spread anymore. What I wanted to do for this video was take you through a super simple weekly spread. So I am going to be doing a weekly overview because I need one. I can't not have a weekly overview. I can't just do dailies. It doesn't work for me. You do not need to do a weekly overview if you don't want. If you just want to use dailies, so where you write the day of the week and the date and all the things that you have to do on that day, then that is completely fine. I'm going to show you how to do that after I do my weekly overview because I use dailies as well. So I will leave a link down below in the description box to the point in the video where I start doing the daily design if you don't want to watch the overview stuff. What I thought I would do for this is to make it really simple. All we are going to be using is a notebook. Whatever notebook you have, it doesn't have to be a Loic term. It can be just a $5 lined notebook. The other things we are going to be using are 2 pens. So I have a purple pen here just to add a little bit of variety in the layout so that I can kind of differentiate easily between certain things. And a 0.3 pen. So this is a uni pen fine liner pen and it is 0.3 size. You can use whatever pen you feel comfortable using. You can use colored pens if you want. You can use a plain color, just a single color throughout the whole layout, or if you want you can mix it up with different colored pens, pencils, etc. But really for this, because people are expressing, I guess, a sort of disenchantment with bullet journaling because they see all of these beautiful, very artistic spreads and think, oh, that looks great, I would really like to do that. And when it comes down to it, it's just not something that works for them. And that's okay. Like, the bullet journal itself was created to be super simple. You know, we don't have to make things super fancy all the time. Anyway, this is a long introduction, I'm sorry. So let's just try and get down to it. I am going to use a ruler, but you do not have to use a ruler if you don't have a ruler or if you don't want to use one. If you don't have a ruler but you do want a straight line, then you can use any kind of straight edge that's fairly non-flexible. Perhaps a small piece of card, like if you cut the side off a cereal box or something, that would work fine. You could use another book if you wanted. Anything like that will work just fine if you don't have a proper ruler at home. It's totally okay. Okay, so I'm going to start doing my weekly layout right now. So I'm starting my boxes and stuff 3 grids down. So 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, I'm just using my black pen to rule in these lines. I'm going straight down the middle. I really want to bolden up that top line, so I'm just going to go back over it. Each day in the overview is 3 grids high. I don't know why I call it 3 grids. 3 boxes makes a lot more sense than grids. And I have 7 boxes for each day of the week. Okay, next thing I want to do is start ruling lines for things like my goals and to-do lists and stuff. So now that I have all of my lines ruled in for my weekly overview, I am going to add a header up the top. I'm just going to use the same black pen. I'm going to turn my book. Hopefully you will be able to see. And then I'm also adding a little bit of colour to the header as well. So I'm just taking a purple Stabilo fine liner and I'm just going to add a purple line. also going to be using my purple pen to add in each day of the week in the day box. And I'm also adding the dates. The next thing I need to do is add headers for each of these different boxes. So this one is for goals, so I'm just going to write goals in here. Tasks, self-care, activity, YouTube, Instagram, hours. There we go. Also need to add a couple of other things for YouTube and hours. The next thing I'm going to do is just fill in my self-care tracker. So count down from 10. And Monday, Tuesday. So for my self-care tracker, generally I use my midliners, these, to fill in the different colours for each day. So I'm still going to use those because that's what I like to use. But if you don't have midliners, you can use different coloured pencils. You could use different coloured pens. So if you have like one of those clicky ballpoint pens that have the different colours in it, so blue, green, red, black, you could do that. Or you could just use any kind of marker colours that you have, or just a single colour. It's really up to you. Like, you don't have to use multiple colours if you want. It's just a bit visually easier to see each thing that you're tracking if you have different colours. So yeah. Now that I have all of the different components filled in from my weekly overview, I am going to start working on my study plan over on this page, which is something that I need also. But if you don't need a study plan, you can just ignore this. And as I said before, you can skip ahead to the dailies, which are going to be on this page. And that is my study plan done. Now I'm going to move on to dailies, and I'm just going to use a really simple little favourite old daily kind of design. Draw a line across top of the page. You can use a ruler if you want, but I don't care. And put two little circles on each end. And then I'm going to draw a flag. So that's 3 squares down. And then come up in a little triangle like that. Then I'm going to decorate it with some dots. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. And I'm going to put the date, 16. And then along here, I am going to write Monday. You can do this however you want to do it. I am going to do a sort of lowercase, slightly cursive font. So for dailies, what I want to do is actually show you two different options. So the first one is this, and then I'm going to show you a second option, which is very basic. And that, for some of you, is exactly what you need. So black pen, and I'm going to put Tuesday because I'll use this as my daily. So yeah, so instead of it being Monday, but you can just imagine that it's Monday. So I'm going to put the date. So it'll be the 17th. And I'm putting each number in its own square. And I'm going to put a dot in the next square, and then I am going to write M-O. No, actually I don't want M-O. I want Tuesday. So I'm going to use my whiteout. Okay, T. And as you can see, each letter has its own square. There you go. If you want, you could put a line across here just to separate it from everything up here. So I might do that because I have a line there, so for me it will be more visually like separate. Okay, so I hope that this video was at least somewhat useful for you. I really did want to create something that you didn't need a lot of stuff to do. You know, you don't need a gigantic pack of pens, and you can just ignore this because that's something that I need to use, but you do not actually have to do this. You could just use a single black pen to chart each of these different things on here. And again, you do not have to use a coloured pen, you could simply use the black pen as well to fill in each of these bits. If you wanted to differentiate the title, like the headers for each of these things, you could always just go over the word a couple of times with the black pen to make it kind of thicker and more bold. So it's kind of like using a bold typeface on the computer. Over here you've got my very simple study plan. Over here we have the dailies. So we have two options for our dailies. As I said, you can do something a little fancier, or you could just keep it really, really simple. And I will probably end up using this one throughout the rest of my week. As I was kind of mentioning at the beginning of the video, you don't have to freak out about not being artistic or not having the time or inclination or vision to create really elaborate, pretty spreads and stuff. The main point of having a bullet journal for me is functionality, because I have a lot of things to do and I like to keep track of my time and all of my to-do lists. So it's a productivity tool first and foremost. If you're having trouble with bullet journaling and you want to bullet journal, then I recommend just starting at the basics and sticking to that basic kind of plan, be it something like this, or even like a really simple weekly overview type of thing like I'm doing, or if you're studying, or if you have like work projects, having some sort of overview plan for that each week. Otherwise you could just use simple dailies, much like the original bullet journal video, which I will have linked down below as well. Most of you watching this have probably seen it, but just in case you haven't. I also wanted to mention, even if you really want to bullet journal but you just find that you can't get into your groove and that it's not really working for you, it's not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. Like, if you want to use a planner and keep track of your week, then by all means you can use a regular pre-made planner. You could use the calendar on your phone. It's really entirely up to you and what works best for you, and I guess my point is try not to force yourself into a certain way of doing things if it doesn't feel like it's the right way for you. That is going to be it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. If there's anything else you would like, or if you would like to see more very basic minimalist kind of designs and stuff, then do let me know, because that is something I'm definitely interested in doing this year. And if you would like to see some more elaborate designs and spreads and things, then do let me know as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!